Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
This is Reusse for my guy, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Reusse is a paid endorser.
I'm going to look something up. I think Stafford's house did burn down.
Where was Stafford's house?
I'm looking it up. I think it burned down.
Is that right?
Well, I'm not sure.
J.J. Redick's burned down.
I didn't know that.
Lakers coach, yeah, he lost his. Oh, no, it was at his birth home, and his mother lived there. That's where
Is his mother
born.
okay?
His mom got out, 90-something, 92 or something.
I'm afraid they're going to find people who didn't get out.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. J.J. Redick's mom is in her 90s? He's younger than me.
Maybe he wasn't. Maybe she was. She was a senior citizen of some. No, maybe it was his grandma. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, so the wind is whipping up again out there today.
Yeah. Well, the problem they are having, too, is you got your arsonists running around that are causing havoc, too.
Yes, you got idiots. Hey, what's Brentwood? Did we make it to OJ's house yet or not? They make
I don't think. I think Brentwood has been spared.
Which means that Riviera Country Club has been spared to this point.
I thought Riviera was right in the base of the Palisades.
Yes, it is. It's down in the valley there. It's they're worried about it.
But didn't all those homes overlooking it, didn't they burn?
I don't know. I haven't followed it closely enough.
What
guess.
portraits did OJ's house have on it? The ones that he had before the trial, or the ones when?
Yes. How many black people do we have in the jury? Quick! Get all those pictures of these white people off the wall. Get Martin Luther King up there where he belongs. Come on. I love that.
That was Johnny? Was Johnny the one that instructed?
I walked in there and said, we got to get other pictures. We got to get it like the civil rights movement and all that stuff instead of him
playing golf with Trump or whatever.
Playing golf with 12 white people. And every one of them was playing golf with a famous white person and probably hanging out with white girls too, gals too. And I think they took down the pictures of the wife too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't have those in there. He's what a move that is.
Okay, here we go. One of his kids is hospitalized.
OJ's kids.
No, Stafford.
Oh, okay.
For what reason?
Kelly here, 70. Last night was long. Kelly wrote back in bed and sleeping everyone except. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a cold. I hope. I don't know why. In terms of evacuation, he They had to evacuate.
They did, but did the house go, or don't we know?
Matthew Stafford was heartbroken when he saw Santa Ana winds. Thousands of people evacuated. On one side, the Los Angeles Rams quarterback's family is grappling with challenges. On the other night, Stafford might make it. God, this is written poorly. Just written poorly.
You know who's writing that? Probably the first thing that popped up was that AI crap that they try to do a synopsis, and sometimes it's not English.
Never mind. This is done so poorly I can't. It's called Essentially Sports. What the hell group is that? Here's, never mind. I'm not going to be able to do this for you.
I'm on it, Joseph.
Yeah. But anyway, if I was a defensive, I suppose it's a little insensitive to say, hey, your house is on fire.
Yeah, you probably don't want to.
Yeah.
I think Matthews was going to be in trouble tonight anyway because he doesn't handle pressure well, and Flores will run a lot on him. But I don't know if you know any LA history. Why do you buy a house? Why do you build a house up there in the mountains? You know, it's up there. Why do you do that? Why don't you go down in the valley there?
Because it's unmistakably beautiful.
Yes, it is. But about every 10 years, you're going to get burned down.
I agree with you, and I would. I think when you're out there and you're going to buy a house, you look around, you say, "Could you get water here and a fire?" I seem to be kind of distant from everything here. And,
yes.
And if they say no, I'd probably say, "I think I'll look at a different area."
You know, the guy I'm worried about is Jimmy's house up there. Did that burn down? The house from Big Lebowski. Jimmy's.
I'm
house
sure it did.
That Ben Gazzara was in.
The one you got to visit during the Lakers series.
Yes.
Harry Bosch's house, the detective in the Mike Conley books.
Down?
I got to think that went.
That was a big old place. Yeah. That's.
Who did you prank with that story?
Who did we prank?
Was it Youngblood?
Youngblood. Yeah, we got Youngblood.
It was you and
Jimmy is, the crazy Laker fan who dresses like. Have you seen him in the sidelines?
Yes.
Jimmy with the goofy clothes that he gets in Vienna every year. He claims and goes to Vienna, and he owns the house. What was the name of the Ben Gazzara character in The Big Lebowski? Anyway.
I don't remember his name.
Anyway,
the Jesus.
No,
not the Jesus.
Ben Gazzara was the guy having the drug that they drugged him up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was that beautiful house looking out over the valley, and I left Youngblood a note and said, "Hey, Ash and I are going to brunch at
Jackie Treehorn.
Jackie Treehorn at the Jackie Treehorn house with Jimmy tomorrow morning. So could you go to the shoot around?" He didn't talk for 2 days. He was pissed. And then we're driving to the airport after they get beaten. I said, "You idiot. We didn't go to Jackie Treehorn's for lunch, for brunch." It was great.
Oh.
It was one of our better pranks.
You know who would have burned down, Pat? Ooh. Rockford's trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was...
You've been through that whole area there.
Oh, yeah. The Malibu was... Yeah, I think Winnie's up there someplace.
Is he really?
Winfield, yeah, he was up there. Now he might not still be, but I visited him up there once when I was out in Southern California. Went up and did a column on him, visited him up there, and he was up in the canyon someplace. So I hope Winnie didn't lose it. Yeah. Who knows
Didn't you do something on him recently? It was the Ohtani comparison piece. Didn't you do something?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I did, but I called him up and said, he's kind of hard to get a hold of. But I left him a message and said, "I want to compare you to Ohtani." And he called me back about 15 minutes
His phone rang right away.
Yeah, because he could have been a pitcher. He could have been a two-wayer. He would have been a great relief pitcher.
But they didn't. They didn't think outside the box in those days.
Not then, not at all. No, they immediately turned him into an outfielder. But he was, at the University of Minnesota, he basically didn't hit for the first 3 years.
Really?
Siebert just had him pitch, and he would, and they DH'd him. They had a DH.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, and then the last year they started using him as the DH, and when he didn't, then he played outfield some too when he didn't pitch. So, but he plus he was also a 4-year Gopher. I think he was there 4 years, even though he was. Third or fourth overall draft choice and went immediately to the big leagues. So,
Houston at Kansas City next weekend.
yes.
Baltimore at Buffalo next weekend.
That'll be a dandy.
That'll be a great
That'll
game.
be a great game.
And then we have...
Where is his Buffalo?
It's at Buffalo.
At Buffalo.
Yep.
And then NFC lowest remaining seed at Detroit.
Washington's going to
Washington's
Detroit.
Washington's going to Detroit. And so that means if the Vikings win, they go to Philadelphia.
Winner tonight goes to Philly. Yep.
We are 0-3 in the playoffs in Philly, and I put that on Twitter, but somebody reminded me we also lost to Philly here.
Oh, yeah.
In 2008, Tarveras
With Chile.
Jackson.
Yes.
Chile, when Tarveras found a receiver in the right flat at the key point of the game, except there was a defensive back.
It was Asante Samuel.
Asante Samuel, and he went all the way. And
Whose kid is now in the league.
Yes. Yeah, Asante Samuel, I looked it up. I found a column I wrote on it that he was, that was his 4th playoff interception for a touchdown. He was a pretty good back.
Are we going to be facing another Buffalo-Kansas City title game?
Baltimore's pretty good.
Baltimore's good, man. Derrick Henry.
You think they can beat the Buffs, huh?
Buffalo's already beat? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I think
Buffalo might be a 1.5 favorite, but both those teams are really good.
Really good. And Buffalo, has been amazing because they lost about 8 expensive players, right?
Yep.
Because they didn't have any
They went
money.
with the youth movement.
What are the crowd there? Is that the Buffalo what?
That's the Mafia.
The Mafia.
The Bills Mafia.
Yeah, the Bills Mafia.
The problem with the Bills,
Mafia
though.
would throw them out for ill behavior.
Yeah.
You aren't.
They're not up to the standards of the Mafia.
You aren't sober enough to be a Mafia member.
I saw a video yesterday.
Do we still jump off onto tables?
Of a young man jumping off of the tailgate of his pickup truck where he tried to land and smash the table. The problem was he missed the table.
That's bad.
And he went face first into the concrete.
Into the concrete. Is he okay?
Did he get up?
The video stopped. So I'm hoping
he's show the damage.
I'm hoping he made a recovery.
Wow.
You know what though, Joe?
Tough to miss the table's right there.
I mentioned this today. Back in the mid-'60s, when Al Davis became the commissioner of the AFL. You remember that. Mm-hmm. Al's strategy was going to be to go get all the good quarterbacks in the NFL when they became free agents. Mm-hmm. So he was the first guy to be quarterback crazy. That your whole franchises, that's the way they draft now. And the NFL was so afraid of that, that's led to the merger, basically, that they didn't. Well, now the AFC's got all the good quarterbacks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You got Allen, you got Jackson, and you got Mahomes. Mahomes is the best football player I ever saw. And I think at this moment he's the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC.
Yep.
Because Allen and Jackson have both had better years than him this year.
This Stroud kid might be the next one that's pretty good.
He was good Sunday, but he's not been that good most of the season.
Where'd he play in college?
Ohio State.
Ohio State. He's the reason that the guy at Texas went to Ohio State for a semester as a freshman and then transferred because he was going to have to sit
Quinn Ewers?
Quinn Ewers. He was going to have to sit behind Stroud for a whole year, and he didn't want to do that. How about that, though? We'll get back to the NFL, but the quarterback with Ohio, did you watch Ohio State and Texas?
Yes.
The guy who knocks the ball out of his hand and runs 85 yards for a touchdown was his roommate at Ohio State.
Isn't that something?
Isn't it? How's
didn't
that
know
for
that.
a sporting coinky dink?
Yeah.
Right there.
Wow.
The big guy.
And
was-
this kid got his team to the Final Four, and they might say, thanks for everything. We need Arch Manning to play quarterback
Yes,
next year.
yeah, right. And he's gonna try to get to the end. He's thinking about entering the NFL draft, but a lot of people say don't do it. He'll be a
The
third
Washington
rounder.
quarterback is Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Yeah, Jaden.
Where do you place him?
He's pretty good.
He's pretty damn
very
good,
but
too.
he's not a great short passer.
Where did he play in college?
LSU.
LSU.
He won the Heisman.
Okay.
Kind of an upset. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people didn't think he was.
A lot of
gonna
Heisman players have made these NFL playoffs.
win. Yeah,
I don't know if you know that or not.
He got very good quarterbacks, right? But
Baker Mayfield was a Heisman winner.
Yes, and Baker Mayfield.
Had a nice year.
Baker Mayfield had a nice year until
Then
he dropped the
until he
ball.
didn't.
Until he didn't. The ball.
Yep, he dropped it.
That was the game because I thought Tampa was better than Washington.
I did too.
watched a lot of that game. I thought they were better than Washington. But you give him. How about the winning kick?
What about it?
You think that guy was puckered up?
He doinked it.
He doinked it off
But
the
he
right.
doinked it correctly.
Yeah, well, yes, but that thing
Well, he
had.
got lucky.
But he hit the thing like, dead on straight. He's just lucky he went left instead of right. It was.
Yeah.
But I saw this guy on the sidelines and he was walking around. He was rubbing his hair. And
Well, to answer your question, yes, he was puckered up.
yes, I saw. And I tweeted out, does the name Blair Walsh
Oh,
ring a
my God,
bell?
you did not.
Ring a bell. And then, Blair Walsh just kicked it straight left. This guy kicked it over here and boing, and then he jumps around like, hey.
The best part about the Blair Walsh miss is all of the fans in that cold, frigid stadium
Yes.
recording it on their cell phone, thinking he had made it because of the angle where they were sitting, like on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. He missed it?
Remember, we had the school kids
Writing
him
them letters.
The school kids writing him letters. It was a first-round playoff game, and that team wasn't going anywhere. But, I've never felt sorrier for a defense in my life because they played Seattle and they played their ass off, and they froze to death. And then this guy goes, I would have ran out and punched him.
Well, I was worried Zim would have stabbed him in the chest at midfield.
Because he hates kickers anyway.
Right.
But, maybe Blair Walsh is the reason he hated kickers.
Could
because
be.
of that game.
Could be.
Yeah.
Who was the guy last night? What game was it where one of the defensive tackles got the unnecessary roughing? Did you see that? Was it Green Bay? It was Green Bay.
I didn't see much of the Green Bay game.
And who's their coach? LaFleur.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur.
He lit into him on the sideline, and the fellow appeared very chastened.
Yeah, well, they
Very
made a lot
chastened.
Then they had the one lineman playing that his big move was to just grab them by the head and try to hold on to them because he was he came in for somebody who got hurt.
Somebody got hurt.
Pat, it never fails
look
that the refs are increasingly bothering me week by week.
Oh, God, yes.
No, they're now
in-
standing on the line of scrimmage to see if everything's all right.
Yes.
And then they backtrack and say, okay, you can play now. Get out of here.
And some big fat guy wanders 2 yards down the field, and they're calling penalties of illegal man down. What do you think? That guy's going out to catch a pass?
Yeah,
He can
it's
barely
driving me
walk.
nuts.
Oh, God, it drives
What
me
can
crazy.
solve it?
I don't know. We were talking about this. The other one is that this holding on a receiver, it can be 3rd and 17, and if you put your hand on him, it's a 5-yard penalty. They give them a first down, but I suppose they're afraid if they don't give them a first down, then they'll just grab guys when it's 3rd and 17, right? But it drives me crazy. I insist. Now, referees in basketball obviously are very vital, but also you're playing to 120, and they call penalties, and there's a method to the madness to some degree. The NFL officials.
There is no method.
The NFL officials have more influence on the outcome of a game than any other sport, in my opinion.
It's all arbitrary.
And the guys who continue to work in the playoffs are the guys that call the most penalties. He did a great job. He saw this guy being 4 inches offside.
Well, it's all fun and games until the Chiefs game next Saturday when everyone's going to be watching the refs in that game.
Oh, yeah, because they've decided the Chiefs are. Although I read some stat that the Chiefs are like in the bottom 10 of the league in first downs gained.
Really?
By penalties. Meanwhile, our boys are 2 or 3 in the league first downs.
Really?
Gained. Yes. So
I don't think the Chiefs are going for us.
I don't
think they're going to make it.
Whoever wins if the Baltimore and Buffalo don't kill each other, the winner of that game will beat them. They'll have a hard time.
Well, the Bills already have beat the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
They're the only team that's beat both the Chiefs and the Lions this year. The Buffaloes.
Yes. But I watched during the regular season. I don't watch a lot because I don't have the Taylor Swift grandkids problem. You know, we don't. I don't.
Do you know anybody that does?
I don't know.
Why don't you tell him what you told us?
I'm not telling.
No,
him.
you have to.
You never know what upsets him.
Yeah.
You know that's
The Game of Flaws took place at the Sushery
I
House.
watched the Tampa Washington game. Washington has the ball about a minute 40 left, and they're just taking their time because they're going to kick a field goal.
Yes, right.
And she wanted them to kick the field goal on second down. And I said, you don't understand how the clock works. No. And that was the wrong thing to say, apparently. I was roasted for that.
You were better off when she didn't watch it.
Oh, it's just been ruinous. And she said, I said, if they do that, then Washington has to give the ball back to Tampa, and Tampa would have plenty of time
to go down
and that's
tying field.
They'd have 40 seconds left. That's nothing. I said 40 seconds can last about 7 minutes.
Yes,
they would have plenty of time. Yes. And I just really wasn't getting through to anybody.
Modern field goal kicking, if you get to the other team's 40, they're going to, you'll make it. 58 yards.
So I think the best thing to do is just watch it in a different room.
Yeah. Well, we don't have that problem with Mrs. Reusse because she wouldn't go into the office next door to watch the Vikings in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Now, we've been to a couple of parties that were Super Bowls.
Sure.
Where people were, the TV was on.
Yeah, but you can pretend you're watching there.
The TV was in the room, but she still managed. She, in fact, the other night I tried Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Good Irish.
I watched that one.
She's half Irish, A good.
Her upbringing alone should have committed her to Notre Dame.
Good. I wouldn't say a real hardcore Catholic these days, but still claims Catholicism as a religion. I said, "Hey, you want to watch the Notre Dame game?" And she says, "Yeah, I'm not much for watching football." I said, "It's Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
No, touchdown Jesus, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So." Anyway, speaking of which, I see they're 9.5-point dogs.
Ohio State's good.
That's about right.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I just want it to be a good game, but Ohio State's
I
going to win.
just keep thinking of those kids at Northern Illinois.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And every day of their life for the rest of their life, I hope Notre Dame becomes the national champions. They can, when they're 70 years old, they're going to say,
those guys.
We beat the national championship.
I haven't read anything, but if I was the Northern Illinois coach, I would have a ceremony in the middle of the campus. Now, maybe they're not back in school or something yet, but you got to celebrate, don't you?
You got to market this.
The weather's not the greatest, but come to the arena and we'll watch the film.
Yeah.
The whole student body. Get some sponsors to give everybody free food.
Was that the opening game of the season?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was. Wasn't it?
I thought there was a second. It was the home game, opening.
Oh, maybe you're right then.
They'd
Okay.
beaten A&M to open the season, I think.
I'd love to go back and watch that game and see what the hell happened.
Well, it was the quarterback was terrible.
Yeah.
This guy who turned out to be pretty good. And they couldn't stop Northern Illinois running game. Northern Illinois basically got the ball with 6 minutes to go and ran it down the field 5 yards.
Did they even? I'm looking. Did they play a bowl game this year?
I was going to say, how did they do this
were
year?
5-7, I think.
You're right. Their last bowl game was the 2024 famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Yes, right.
Well, wouldn't that have been this year?
Well, no, January of last year, 2024.
Okay.
No, I think they were 5-7 in the mighty MAC.
You're right. Beating
Mid-America.
Notre Dame in their home opener in South Bend, 16-14, with two
Now,
You get
interceptions.
potatoes dumped on you if you win that one?
I was very disappointed in the Raiders. I wrote the thing about L.A., the Rams being the original, but I had a mayonnaise joke in there.
Yeah.
Nobody responded. Nobody reads it. They don't make it to the third paragraph. You know, you got to have your mayonnaise jokes in the summary.
Wait, does that mean you're coming around on Joe's thought on why do you bury the lead, or what's your point,
No,
Joe?
it was a nice little aside
Oh,
in the
I
third
see.
graph about how that I quoted some guy from the 1926 game saying it was between Southern Cal and Notre Dame. It was the greatest game, the way they wrote back then. It was just, I said, and then I said something like, well, maybe, but apparently Knute Rockne was not thrilled enough to have himself covered in mayonnaise after the game, and nothing happened.
He was looking forward to getting mayonnaise dumped on him. He kind of straightened his sweater and he stood at attention.
yes.
He was, let her go! Pour her on me!
Yeah, but
You
I think
moron.
I think the original guy, originally was like squirting a bottle on a guy's head. Now you're taking a bath.
Apparently, there is a brand of mayonnaise
Dukes.
called Dukes.
Yep.
I don't. Is it
It's
available?
tangy, very tangy.
Can you get it around here?
Some degree here, but not really. But it's popular in the South. Joe.
I see.
It's the Publix that we used to go to down the street was
Your
would
estate,
have
you mean, in
Dukes
Florida.
at the estate would have Dukes.
You can't possibly be a mayonnaise guy. You don't like butter,
No, I like mayonnaise.
really?
Yeah, not frequently.
Okay. On a
But
BLT,
I'll take some.
like a BLT.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, you gotta have mayonnaise.
You gotta have mayo on a
BLT.
BLT.
But Duke sounds good if it's tangy.
Got
That
some
means it has a
tang.
little more mustard in it.
You know what? You know how we make the low-cal BLT at my place.
I've never heard of one.
The Reusse low
How do you make a
BLT.
low-cal
Make the
BLT?
toast. Then
Yeah.
you got your bacon, and you got your L, and you got your T, right?
Yeah.
And you got your mayo.
Yeah.
You also put peanut butter on it.
What?
You put peanut
That's
butter
obscene.
on it. Peanut
That's a
butter.
blasphemous.
Try it once.
No, hell no.
Try it
No.
once.
Why
With
does that
a-
make it low cal? You've just
No,
added crap.
I know I'm being sarcastic.
Oh.
Because I don't think peanut butter is terribly healthy, is it?
Do you go chunky or smooth peanut butter?
Well,
Because I love chunky
we
peanut
usually
butter.
have chunky in the house, so that's what I use. But when I was a kid growing up, I never had mayo on it. I always had peanut butter.
I'm going to have to try that.
On a BLT?
On a BLT. It's
No mayo?
Once a week we had BLTs.
And your mother didn't put mayo on it.
Well, she would, but I think my old man or somebody said, try a little peanut butter on there, and it was
That's the worst thing I ever heard.
Might be worth a shot.
Although peanut butter and lettuce and tomato and mayonnaise is good.
Oh,
Peanut
God,
butter
that's
and
great.
mayonnaise is good.
I think a BLT is the best lunch sandwich there is.
It's
but
pretty
you
tough
have
to
Especially if you get the good chewy bacon. I don't like the bacon that's crispy.
You don't like it crispy?
No, I don't like
Oh,
crispy.
I don't like it crispy.
I like that we gnaw on it.
We got a place out there called Pub 42 down on highway on
Let me guess, 42nd
42nd
Street.
Street, yes. And they do a good business, but they got a BLT called the Millionaire's BLT. Cost about 16, 17 bucks a pop,
Really?
but it's like this. And the bacon is got a little southern smoky flavor to
For
it.
those of you watching the YouTube video, that
Fantastic.
was about 2 inches, as Reusse
That's
just
right. That's right. It's such a great sandwich. You get it for lunch, you eat half of it, and you eat the other half for dinner.
Can you get it to go and bring it home for dinner?
That's what we always do.
Oh,
Get it at home.
boy.
And when in doubt, let's get a couple of millionaires BLTs.
Oh, yeah.
I saw this ad the other day about financial responsibility and they're saying, you spend $5,000 a year on takeout. God, would I like to spend $5,000 a year on takeout with us too? It's like, we cook twice a week. The rest of it's takeout.
Yeah.
So,
But it's takeout of good stuff.
well, yeah.
You're not going to Arby's.
Yeah, I'm kind of an Arby's fan back in the day, but
Well,
then
yeah,
they got
but-
rid of the potato cakes.
I didn't know that.
with them.
Oh, yeah, the potato cakes are pretty
Didn't
good.
know that.
Now they bring them back as a special every once in a while. So.
You got anybody
anyway.
that'll give you the inside dope on what's wrong with Kaprizov, the commie?
And the groin.
Well,
got
he's
the
not
groin.
back yet.
I know. I don't know how bad he pulled the
Well,
groin.
they're going to slump till they get their players back.
Well, yeah, the defenses, they got half of them.
Yeah,
No Brodeen.
This ain't good. They got Edmonton
Spurgeon.
who's having a great year. They're here Wednesday.
He's a pretty good player, and this is going to come as a surprise to you. I was over the other day. McKinnon.
Well, he's always been a great player.
In this
That doesn't come as a surprise
This
to me.
Ratnan, all he's going to do is keep his stick on the ice.
Yep.
He's got 30 goals
Yeah,
already.
he's
He just
really
goes
good.
like that, and he's now he had a lot of injury problems early, right? And now he plays every game.
Hey, did the Wild beat the San Jose's?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
or I'm
they
thinking
beat
last
San
night.
Jose. They lost to
They
Vegas
lost last night. That's
but
They lost. They won.
They shut out San Jose. Your guy.
Camilo
had a
Pasquale.
field shot.
What's his name? What's his name? Mikkel.
The shots were 30.
Macklin Celebrini.
Yes, the shots were 37-22.
How many did Macklin
in San
have?
Jose's favor, but the flower was great.
Yeah.
According to everybody who watched.
I thought he scored a goal, Joe's guy.
No, they didn't get a goal.
Yeah, the Wild won 3-1.
Oh, I thought it was 3-0.
No. Yeah, Celebrini did. He had an
Okay.
assist. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Eklund is the one that scored the goal for San Jose.
Mr. Judd, Mr. Hockey, confirms your suspicions that this 18-year-old's a
Well,
phenomenon.
he's going to be something.
And maybe by the time he signs his long-term contract, his 12-year-old brother
Yeah.
will be there. He's got another brother who's younger, but the 12-year-old is the one
really
that
good.
everybody's talking about.
Yep.
Oh.
I was at not your old school, but I was at the East Ridge girls JV playing the White Bear Lake JV.
Yeah.
Last time I saw this play the White Bears, I've seen her play 3 times this year, twice White Bear. White Bear humiliated us.
Really?
Humiliated us 3-0. I was I never told her
Did
face
you give her
to
some
face.
grief?
I never told her face to face, but I didn't stick around for the post game, because I'm afraid I would say, "What the hell was wrong with you today?" So
Right.
I figured that's not the kind of encouragement.
I'm not terribly familiar with White Bear girls hockey.
Well, we have you been in the sports building that they have there?
Is it on Highway 96 in the freeway?
Yeah, just right off
I have
the
not been
freeway.
in it.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but
Yeah.
it's the parking's terrible. But we beat them 3-1. Had a lead 3-0 going into the last minute, and the granddaughter played very good. in
But you
this
just
game.
said they were defeated 3-0.
Well, the first time I saw
okay.
them play, they
Is the granddaughter a sophomore?
she's a sophomore, and she got for the first time. They let some players stay and sit on the bench with the varsity, and she got 2 shifts with the varsity. For the
Really?
first time. So
But she's headed for varsity stardom.
I don't see stardom, but maybe
What school? Woodbury?
Eastridge.
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 So Woodbury's so big they needed a second school.
Joe, I had this stat the other day. When the North Stars left, 24,000 in Woodbury.
Yeah.
80 now.
80,000 people.
80,000.
Why
Holy
do
crap.
you link that to the North Stars leaving?
No, I'm just saying the wild support is so much better than the North Stars ever was. The North Stars went broke twice, basically. These guys, I call them the Woodbury Wild a lot because
that's where they're coming
everybody
from.
I know out there, them and three neighbors own season tickets.
That's the other thing too, gentlemen, is just the size difference between these schools. We were in Shakopee all weekend, right?
Yes.
You've been to Shakopee High School, massive, right?
Yes.
It's just it's a college campus essentially, and you'll see, us poor little Jordan. We've got 90 kids in our entire travel basketball program. They've got 100 plus at each grade level that are playing sports.
Yeah, Well, Shakopee is. When I was a youth, which was a while ago in Prior Lake, we used to go over to Shakopee all the time to try to get the Shakopee girls to come over and drink beer with us, and then maybe get frisky. But we always
frisky. That was rural. Then.
We always say, it was just downtown. That's all there was, and then we had some good parties. Yeah, with the Shakopee girls. Now, if you invited the Shakopee girls, you'd have to rent a gymnasium.
That's who.
Where did you live in Prior Lake? On the lake?
In town. Right, block off Main Street.
Yeah.
And the old man built his house between two, one house kind of up here and another house down here. And so he built it in this empty lot. And basically, we had a moat the old gal next door was a great gal. What the hell was her first name? Schmidt was her last name. Her son was a hell of a basketball player before I got there. But we ended up basically, she was living underwater next door because he built his house there.
I'm drowning.
But it was, the old man used to, for a prank, would put decoys out in the front yard like we were waiting for.
But he wasn't working the funeral business then.
He would, but he was, not really.
Just a hired hand.
If somebody wanted to call him. No, he was working at the. He was putting a carpet in the repair at the. He did the carpet thing too at the. Curtis or Leamington, one of the two. So he'd sleep down there. But
did he sell the business in Fulda?
Yep, sold it while my mom was dying, and never told us that she was dying. And you kind of figured it out finally. And then about 2 weeks after she was buried, he said, "Hey, we're moving to Prior Lake." So.
But does the business still exist in Fulda? The guy who bought it?
Slayton.
Hated Slayton got it?
Slayton got it. We had your Lutherans in Slayton.
Yeah.
And you had your Catholic in Fulda.
Yeah.
So all the Fulda people would go to Richard. All the Slayton people would go to this other guy, the Lutheran. But in all the surrounding towns, the Lutherans would go to Slayton and the Catholics would go to the old man.
Did the hated Lutheran buy it? The guy from Slayton?
Yeah, he was fine. Yeah, we hated Slayton, but he was
hated Slayton, not hated Lutheran.
Not hated Lutherans. No.
Yeah, there's too many Lutherans.
Well, half of Fulda was Lutheran.
Yeah.
Half Fulda had German Lutherans and German Catholics. They just didn't have any non-Germans.
Right.
They had about 8 Swedes, and that was it. So,
what was Fritz the B-man? Was he a German?
I'm not sure. I think he was, but he was a Jehovah's Witness.
Really?
And that
had to be rare for that day.
Oh, God, yes. And he drove a Model T.
Yeah, you told me that.
And
he yodeled.
He'd go uptown and get full of whiskey, and you'd hear him driving back in the Model T yodeling.
But isn't he the guy who backed out onto the highway and didn't look?
No, that was my Uncle Fritz.
That's Fritz.
Fritz had more money than God. He had about a 15-year-old crap car.
Yeah.
And because he was impressively cheap. Okay, and they'd be coming from Worthington, 18 miles straight shot.
Yeah.
And when people were strangers, they'd say, somebody going back to fall, they say, look out for Fritz.
Yeah.
Because he'll be pulling out.
Model T
He just
yodeling.
pull out. Well, the saddest thing.
The saddest
ever,
thing's the tapes, man.
my old man had a tape interviewing Fritz the B-Man about Jehovah and stuff like that. And it was hilarious. And what the hell happened to it? I don't know.
Oh, wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, God. It was, you could do a show. It's the
Yeah.
funniest thing ever. Come on, Fritz, have another drink away, because he was trying to get him drunk to tell him, which wasn't hard. Fritz was already about 2/3 of the sheet.
This is a good reminder. We have, now that we've put the show on YouTube, gentlemen,
Yes.
we're getting a lot of new listeners. It's been fun. People that are reconnecting with the show that didn't know
Is
it
this
was
on
still
YouTube
around.
right now?
It will be later. We post it later. It's not
I
in real
see.
time. But
I see.
One commenter, because I believe the caption was Vikings lose to Detroit, now play Rams in the play, something like that last week's. And there was a gentleman that had said, well, I didn't get much analysis of that Viking game. Someone replied, you ever listen to the show before?
Well,
But I love Fritz the B-Man
You got
stuff.
plenty of analysis today. Stafford will get rattled.
Oh, yeah, I think
You're looking at a Vikings victory,
I
aren't
think the
you?
Vikings win. Yeah, I think the Vikings win. And the neutral site helps, too.
Be full of Minnesotans.
I would think we'll have 2/3 of them.
Someone pointed out the irony of State Farm.
They're only selling. It only costs you $100 to get in.
Oh, you could
right?
get in, right? Yeah, for sure. But someone pointed out the irony of State Farm Insurance is the name rights holder of the stadium that they're going to because of the State Farm thing. Remember we mentioned that in California last week with the insurance company. Someone pointed out that irony.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to have a few bills to pay.
No, the fact that they pulled,
out?
insurance years ago on homeowners
But
insurance
that's
policies.
because they couldn't handle the political regulations that burdened their business. They were not allowed to set premiums based on the probability of catastrophe. They only could base premiums on history. Finally, that's been changed, and they can now. Whoever's selling insurance can say, "Here, your premium is going to cost you a fortune because look at this fire you just had."
Yeah, but Florida has the same problem.
Yeah.
Insurance agents pulling out because of the
hurricanes. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen?
You know what? FEMA. The hell with it. You know, if you're living in these places, it's it's your problem.
How about North Carolina?
Yes.
They didn't. They weren't normally signed up for that. In California, you're signing on for a fire.
Yes.
But in North Carolina, they got this aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
Yes.
They're
rain.
still living in tents.
I know. All these towns just, what were they, valley town, mountain towns?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Up in the mountains and the whole deal.
We might get a tornado here once in a while, right?
That's it.
Nothing else. We had a lot of snow. We
Blizzard
got 30
here and
inches
there.
Blizzard, we got
there.
plows.
We do. I mean, we got, we're pretty good here.
Well,
Yeah.
we have nothing to fear from nature.
Not really. You know, now we might, it's pretty dry, so the Northwoods will.
I mean, on a day like today, you might freeze to death if you run out of gas,
right.
but,
We'll
that's true.
burn 50,000 acres up at BWCA this spring. But that's okay.
Would be rough. That would be roughly half the size of Lake Mille Lacs.
Yeah, you kill a couple of raccoons or something. You know, that happens. You know, the rough grouse population.
You might lose a moose.
Yeah, we might lose a moose. God, I was, in my own sadistic way.
Oh, dear
when
God.
the moose was making its way. We had cameras on the moose.
Just the one that wandered down here?
The one that was wandering up.
Didn't know where he was.
The baby, the calf moose. I was rooting in my heart that somebody got a moose license. That little kid said,
Bullwinkle!
The moose, the poor moose. How's a moose can outrun a pack of wolves?
right.
Can't.
Shoot the wolves.
Yeah.
We don't need them. We don't need them.
Where do you get the wolf urine?
From the wolf.
From the wolves.
We don't need them. The people who write sympathetic stories about the wolves bother me. The Wolves made Turkey of the Year this year. They didn't win, but they were
at the
the
table.
Wolves was being represented
They were at the table
by some, PETA person or something like that.
Oh, God.
I don't know. We should analyze tonight.
Okay,
But,
I thought we did.
Hold on. Before you do that, I need an ad from the Valley Group, and then we can conclude with a little Viking analysis.
all right.
Our friends of Jim Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers.
I guarantee you, Jim Paul and Brett Paul will be zeroed in on that tilt tonight, just like the rest of
They might be getting a call from
Minnesota.
yours truly very soon, by
That's
the way.
good. By the way, so I've been looking at the inventory there.
All right.
We got a lot of Envisions at very good prices, too.
Remind me, what's the Envision?
It's an SUV. I think it's
crossover
one
deal?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
okay.
one size bigger than the Encore.
Gotcha.
maybe.
Okay.
And the prices on these things are incredible. And if you get one a year or two old with not many miles on it, I can't imagine what a good price you'd be getting at Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. Tremendous amount of stock. A lot of Sierra trucks, too, by the way, those heavy-duty trucks that people love. And the SUVs. The SUVs are perfect for that kid that's turning 16, man, the smaller SUVs. And you got to get the urchin a driver's license. They're very persuasive when they get to be 16. So Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers, a lot of rebates from the factories and low interest rates. In fact, you want that Hummer EV? 0% interest.
Really?
0% interest. 0.9, 1.9. There's deals to be made right now.
There you go,
Jim
Joe.
Paul and Brett Paul.
EV.
Valley Group of GM dealers, Apple Valley and Hastings.
Okay.
We're going to break her down right now.
All right, here's my analysis. Darnold can get the big money by having a great game. He can reaffirm the year he
Yes.
had. And Justin Jefferson needs a playoff victory to cement being Justin Jefferson. He needs a playoff victory to cement being probably the best receiver in the league.
Kind of like Kaprizov needs to get through first round at least.
Exactly.
Right?
Justin Jefferson needs to get a victory as much as anybody on that club. That's my analysis.
That is pretty good. I think that we have overreacted to the defense's performance against the Lions when we look at 31 points. They played great.
They played great because they were on the
played
damn
great
field the
for
whole second
quarters.
half. Yeah.
So I think that defense of Flores is going to just make Matthews' life miserable tonight. Did somebody give me the stat? Under pressure, he's like the worst in the league.
He's not very good.
50%
What would
something.
constitute being under pressure? Just getting rushed hard?
The technical guys judge it, but
Yeah.
If he has to move essentially, because
And they're always
can't
under
face-
but he's a statue. He has no mobility whatsoever.
And he throws the softball too now. No, he's good. He knows where he wants to go with it. He's good, but I know our coach is a big fan of his because he won a Super Bowl with him. But
you know who else tonight's a big night for, though, by the way? You just mentioned him, Brian Flores. If he's going to get a job.
Yeah, if they hold him down, he can get a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they'll trade O'Connell and we'll have Flores.
Well, they're not going to trade O'Connell.
And not going to happen?
No, I don't think
This
so.
is the dumbest thing ever. Where did this come from?
This is the product
Florio.
of, there's 10 million blogs out there with,
But it started with Florio, right?
no, it started with Jay Glazer.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was
Jay
50%
Glazer.
of Charlie Walter's column yesterday.
Yeah.
Take this seriously.
Teams are trying to trade for O'Connell. The shooter, by the way, did I tell you? So I'm talking to this guy, Pete Donovan, for my L.A. story. Used to be the Rams PR guy.
Yeah.
He's down in Palm Springs. So I text him and I said, can I get you on the phone tomorrow? He says, yeah, call me later because I'm having breakfast with Charlie Walters.
Oh.
So Charlie and he were hanging out together, and
Who was the Bears PR guy back in our day? What the hell was his name?
the greatest.
I think he was from here. He went to St. Thomas, maybe, or St. John's.
What
the hell?
God, my memory.
He had dinner at my house once.
Yeah.
Who in the hell was it?
He succeeded Bill McGrain. Bill McGrain went from here to the Bears with
Yeah, it
Finks.
wasn't McGrain.
Finks, but it was after Nate. Yes. He's a friend of mine. I can't remember.
Let me see if I can look it up for you.
Dan. He was.
I only asked because I wonder what he's doing now.
Yeah, he worked for him forever.
Right.
He worked for him forever. Great guy. Back in the days when the PR guys tried to help you.
Right.
You know.
They didn't try to obscure you.
No.
Or what's the word I want?
Yeah.
Obfuscate.
Yes. Charlie Dayton. Charlie Dayton at Washington was the greatest.
Didn't know him, or I don't remember him.
You were out there, though, when the Reds... By the way, you know what really upset me? I have no problem getting rid of the Redskins nickname.
Yeah.
But when I looked at the 1946 standings, they called them the Commanders.
Really?
Let's not go back. We don't have to go that far to write, we can't get rid of history, okay? They were the Redskins.
Right.
The Redskins won Super Bowls, not the Commanders. Come on. So
I don't think you're going to find it.
I'm going to think
Chris.
of it and I'll text you. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
I don't think you're going to find it.
All right, I just thought maybe.
Well, I don't think they keep records of PR guys.
Well, he would have been in the media guide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just looking for the media guide from the 70s.
God,
Yeah.
He was famous. God almighty. I don't.
Okay.
I can still remember, though, going to Philadelphia and seeing them lose that year with when they lost to Vermeil way back in '80. You were there. Mm-hmm. Remember when they ran down to the sideline with photographs? Mm-hmm. And we thought this was the damnedest technology ever done.
What is this voodoo?
Yes, they ran to Vermeil with photographs that were taken from the press box and not from the press level. And we said, holy cow, look at, they're showing them the formations,
But for all we know, everything they do now is AI.
Oh, yeah.
They each got their own iPad.
Yes.
Who's the Philly player that reads a book? When he's on the bench, he's reading.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
It introduces him to peace, he says. He's reading a book, a novel. He sits there and reads.
See that?
Yes. Look that
So
up,
he looks
Reeves.
up every once
I'm
in
gonna
a
look it
while
up.
and
Well, when he has to go in, he's got to put the book down.
A.J. Brown
Might be.
gets Eagles player getting caught reading a book.
Yeah,
During
he
the
always
meeting.
reads a book.
It's A.J. Brown. He
Yeah.
was caught reading a book.
He's not caught. He does it on purpose. He reads the book. They know he reads.
Brings him peace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's not playing. Why
Does
not?
it say what he's reading? That'd be really
Oh,
interesting.
I'm going to look right now.
you're reading a book. But you always, whenever you're reading a book, it's like you kind of say, boy, this is...
No, it's like he's sitting on a park bench. He's just reading like this.
I never even knew that. That's one of the great stories in NFL history right there.
Fans couldn't quite believe it, and neither could play-by-play man Tom Brady, who said, I haven't seen too many people read books, but I've seen
I think Brady said that because I don't think Brady can read.
But I've seen a quarterback eat a hot dog during a game, is what he said.
I don't like Brady's work on TV.
I think he's going to be one and done.
But
He's
speaking
terrible.
of Brady, does he still have Irina, whatever her name is his new girlfriend?
Oh, I didn't
Shake?
know this.
No, he and
Giselle.
Giselle are Splitsky.
Yeah.
But you remember Irina Shayk, S-H-A-Y?
What, that was Leo's gal,
Who's
right?
the chick that did the Golden Globe Awards?
Oh.
What's her name?
The comedian.
Yeah. Wasn't she the hostess of a roast of Brady?
Tom Brady.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
Boy, she carved him up.
Have you seen her routine?
No, but I think I'd like it.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't watch it with any kids in the room by any means.
Okay.
But she went Ricky Gervais on that Golden Globe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just
Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer. But look up the Nikki Glazer roast of Tom Brady.
Let's just put it this way, Pat. When Nikki is roasting a male professional athlete, she likes to put out situations where she'd be helpful. And she is not shy about it whatsoever.
Okay, look up.
Hold on.
She rips Giselle,
Hey, hold
too.
on. I found the name of the book.
Yeah.
By A.J. Brown. Playoff game.
Yep.
Green Bay Packers in town.
He's reading.
A.J. Brown is reading the book Inner Excellence by Jim Murphy.
Oh, wow.
Here's the
Not
subhead.
one of those self-help.
Train your mind for extraordinary performance and fullness of life.
Yeah, but he says that it could be a novel in there. He's just folded inside.
Or is he
the
doing what Rookie does?
Yeah, he's reading.
He's got something else inside the book to make it look like that's what he's actually reading.
I think he's reading popular science.
Okay, this is, I believe, this is the other gal that he was supposedly dating.
No, I don't. I'm not a Tom Brady guy.
I don't
won
like
7 Super Bowls. That's fantastic. I don't know.
I loved him as a player, but I can't stand him as a broadcaster.
But that whole, and now the wife is pregnant by the karate instructor, and well, how are the other kids taking that?
I don't know.
She's pregnant by the
the karate guy.
Well, Joe learned about this, Pat, while he's watching the Tampa Bay game because he gets filled in all the gossip.
No, I learned this by watching the video of the Nikki Glazer.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Tom had a great idea. Hey, babe, why don't you take up jiu-jitsu? I don't. They're a bad. They don't set much of an example. That couple.
No, they really don't.
No.
They did pretty good for a long time.
For a while, yeah.
This, I believe, is the new gal, though, Irina.
Oh my goodness! Is that the wife?
My goodness, is that the wife? And she was with Bradley Cooper, wasn't she?
Yes, that's who I'm thinking of. That's right. She was with Bradley Cooper.
But I think they split ski.
Yep.
And Tom, I think it was Tom. I think he got the rebound. I don't know.
Well, good for you.
He landed on his feet.
Usually he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think that these new YouTube listeners to Monday Night Sports Talk are slightly confused as to what they got themselves into?
They're kind of saying, well, they start here, but they really don't. They really don't end.
And you know what? It's now worse than it used to be.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because the governor's like, you ever listen to Joe and Pat before? That's why we tune in.
That's enough.
Yeah, I think.
Goodbye.
See you later. Go Vikes!
Yeah, hey, win
Why
that
not?
big game.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is Patrick Reusse for the Canopy Group. With your football team in the playoffs, you're excited about the many ways they can secure a victory. Why settle for anything less in your insurance coverage? Don't stick with just one agent representing one company. That wouldn't make any sense. At the Canopy Group, they offer you more with 16 different insurance companies and a team of 50 skilled insurance professionals. They give you the options you need to ensure your home and auto are always covered at the best rates. And they do this every year at your renewal. No more one-size-fits-all coverage. Just comprehensive solutions tailored to your needs at the best rates. To speak with an agent and receive your free quote, call 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com. That's thecanopygroup.com.